Hi, everyone. Welcome to your product update for the 30th of July. I'm Chris Galt, Head of Product at WorkflowMax. Let's dive straight in. We'll flick over to the product and we can share with you what we've been working on for the past 10 days or so. The first example I'm going to walk you through today is an example where we do have quite a group of users, a large group of users, I should say, who will invoice a customer and then they receive purchase order details from a supplier after the fact, which resulted in changing of cost information. So we're just going to do that example because I know some of you were blocked with this particular workflow, which should now be resolved. So the first thing we're going to do on this job is we're going to create a purchase order. We'll choose our supplier and we'll go and add a cost to this PO. So we'll choose that cost, add that to the PO here and issue that one. If we navigate back to the job, what some of you, we know you do as part of your workflow, you actually change this cost to an actual cost so that you can go ahead and invoice your customer, but you might not have received the final bill from the supplier yet. So we'll go ahead and actually create a final invoice on this job to the customer here. We'll save that and we'll go and look at this cost, $20 on this invoice to the customer. We'll save and approve that invoice. And now where you were blocked before was that you couldn't actually enter that supplier information for this cost because it had been invoiced as part of a final invoice there. But now if you navigate back to that purchase order and we go ahead and we add the bill for this PO, you should be able to enter this invoice information and we can actually, update the costs here. The cost might have changed from your supplier, for example. We can save this as $15 instead of 10. And then if we go ahead and navigate back to our job, you'll see that the cost information there has changed to $15 instead of 10, even though it has been invoiced. So we know that some of you use that workflow quite regularly, so we've now adjusted that so that you shouldn't be blocked there going forward. The other thing we've been working on, we've updated a few reports over the past 2 weeks or so. Time productivity report's been updated. The job task allocation report has also been updated. So have a look at those if you're heavy users of either of those two reports. Another one that we've updated is the job time summary report here. We know that a few of you will use this report regularly and you just import basically all of your clients into this report. So if you click on that filter option, you'll see here under the client list, we have added that select all button or select none, just so you don't have to go and tick through all of these clients. We know that there's several businesses out there who are just loading in potentially 200, 300, 400 clients, and you don't want to have to go through and tick all of those off. So that select all button should help you out there if you are using this job time summary report to just load in all of that client data and hit refresh, and that will come through. Another one is we've added the job status column into the milestone report and several PO reports. So we know a few of you needed that job status column. That should be updated there and ready to go if you need to pull that one in. So have a look at PO reports, job milestone reports. You'll now have the job status that you can pull across to that one. With respect to adding costs on jobs, invoices, quotes, we've also made a tweak there to make this more similar to how WorkflowMax used to operate. So when you do click add a cost, if we are choosing a particular cost here in our cost database, you can edit the name of this as you're adding it to the job. So I can go here and say a new description for this particular cost line item. So when I save that on the job, it will have that actual title, which is slightly different here. So we know that's just a bit more convenient. You don't have to add the cost anymore and then click on that to go and edit that. So that's been tweaked just to how it was to save some time. So that one is now available in the product. The other thing we've added through into the product is the ability to bulk print your invoices. So there's several of you out there who need to bulk print several invoices at once. If you go and multi-select several invoices from this screen, for example, you'll see there's now this print beta option. If you click on that, that will bulk print your invoices. So have a look at that functionality. If you are a user of that particular feature from the old product, we know there's several of you that might print 100 invoices at the same time. Or if you've got several small jobs for the same client, this is quite useful. So have a look at that and just make sure that's operating okay for you. It is still in beta at the moment, but please sing out if there are any issues with that with your bulk printing. And you can, of course, choose your sort of standard custom template if you've got those for your invoices as well here as part of that bulk printing process, and then emailing to clients from here using that send button. One more that we have updated with respect to invoicing recently is just that the invoice description field. If you are typing something in here, we know that that was actually disappearing if you switched your pricing mode after you typed it in. So now if you change this from calculated to fixed price, even after you've typed in your invoice description, that's not going to disappear on you anymore. So just a small tweak there. We just didn't want anyone losing that description after you've typed that in. So even if you do adjust your pricing mode now, that should be retained when you've typed in the description. The other one on invoicing is if you are integrated to Xero, we know that some users were having trouble with credit notes and prepayment syncing through as payments. So please give those a go now. We've made some tweaks there with respect to the Xero integration, that your credit notes, when they're applied in Xero, and your prepayments, if they're applied in Xero as well, they should be coming through and syncing here as a payment against that particular invoice. Should have the account name from Xero, and as the reference, it should actually have sort of the credit note number, whatever was applied there to that invoice in Xero. Just make sure you check your integration settings for Xero and make sure you are set to automatically import payments from Xero. That will facilitate those sort of coming through and applying to your invoices automatically. So that one's been updated there as well. A quick note on recurring jobs. We've made some tweaks on this functionality as well. We know that some of you are still having trouble with your recurring jobs. Quick tip there is just to double check on your recurring jobs that they do have a status. As part of migration, we know a few of you were missing an actual status on the recurring job, which shouldn't have been possible because it's a mandatory field. So just double check that one, make sure there's a status there. That might be preventing it from getting created, or it might be putting it into all jobs instead of active jobs because we don't have a status for that particular recurring one. So have a look at that, see if that might be stopping those recurring jobs from creating there. Another one for recurring jobs is if you have a particular template that's getting applied for that recurring job. We did see an issue with cost dates for some time zones where they were getting created in sort of UTC, British Standard Time, instead of your time zone from your organization. That one also should be resolved now if you've got costs coming through on a template with particular dates. So have a look at that on your recurring jobs when they do recur, and just make sure that those cost dates are looking okay now. And then the last one we'll reference is with respect to, if we log out here, you can see we do have that remember me option. We know that this wasn't applying correctly. So if you tick that off now, that should be remembering your session and keeping you logged in for a period of time. So give it a go, log out, put in your details, click that remember me button and log back in if you prefer to stay logged in within your browser. And that should remember your session now going forward. Just a quick reminder for everyone as well that we do have this green question mark down the bottom right-hand corner, which gives you our resource center with some helpful links to a whole bunch of different things. This has our help center, but also these troubleshooting guides, which help walk you through particular scenarios that might pop up if you're dealing with custom template issues or invoicing or purchase orders. Worth having a look through some of these. Our customer success team and customer support teams have worked really hard putting this content together. So it is worth taking a look at those. And with respect to support, we know we're not quite as responsive as we'd like to be. Still, we're working very hard and investing heavily in the customer support and customer success teams to get some more resourcing there to be a bit more responsive. But we are seeing some significant progress there. We're getting through our backlog of tickets and we're closing more than are getting opened at the moment. So we're seeing some progress there, but we'll continue to work hard and strive to be better in terms of that responsiveness. That about does it for today with respect to the product update for the end of July. We'll be in touch, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks, everyone.